Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Hasbro Tuesday as we are looking at the 11th and final series of the Hasbro run. So, the 4th and 11th series, which is most commonly referred to as the Green Card series. 1994, this was the end of Hasbro, and this is the end of, in my opinion, the greatest wrestling action figure run of all time. And you know what? Let's be honest, it is. Hasbro was the greatest action figure line. I mean, there's no comparison. I'm sorry. You look at your modern day wrestling action figures, Rush Collectibles, Ringmasters, Hastel Toys, Grapplers Gimmicks, Zombie Sailors, Heels and Faces, the Premier Wrestling. You got what else is out there? Wrestle Something Wrestlers from the figure collection store. I mean, there's so many companies out there. Even your regular run of the mill customizers, just your general guys who just work out of their homes. Everybody's imitating Hasbro action figures, Mattel retros. Okay, everybody's mimicking these figures. Why? Because they are such a popular toy line. And it's a darn shame that these figures could not have continued on throughout the 1990s. Now, for me, as you guys know, I've been talking about it throughout the run of the show throughout the weeks. In the early 1990s, my brothers and I, we had a ton of these figures in series 1 and 2. We didn't have anything in Series 3 as I've been talking about, and we only had the three figures with the Undertaker, Bulldog, and Bret Hart in Series 4, and that was it. We were pretty much cut off after that. I don't know if we didn't lose interest or stop playing with our figures or anything like that. We just simply didn't know about these figures. Maybe we stopped going to KB Toys or Toys R Us or whatnot. We just simply didn't know these figures existed. So when the rest of Series 4 came out, when Series 5 and onward came, we didn't know what these figures existed. So it kind of sucked that the first time that I was ever introduced to any of these other figures is right at the end of 2021 when I started collecting all of this stuff. But getting into this stuff, getting reacclimated into wrestling, reacclimated into these action figures, man. And then it wasn't because of the toys that made us, the Netflix series. When I saw that series, yes, I wanted to see that show. I mean, there were a couple of interesting things. The Ninja Turtles, because I mean, I was a huge fan of that series, obviously, and I had a lot of those figures as a kid. That was something I definitely wanted to watch, and I wanted to watch the wrestling series because ever since I was a young adult, early 20s, the Hasbro figures, I've always wanted to go back and kind of pick up some of those old figures that I had as a kid, but I never knew what they were called. I always knew that if I saw one of the type of figures, even if I never had a particular figure, based on the sort of cartoon look of the figure, I would know that, hey, I had that type of figure. That is how unique these figures were. And when I watching that series and I'm like, man, these were made of Hasbro. That's so common. Like, how could I have not known that? But getting back into Hasbro, I mean, this is been a blessing because I absolutely love this line, man. It will always be my childhood line and will always forever be my all-time favorite action figure line. So, but as I said, guys, Series 11 isn't going to be the end of the show. Next week, we are going to look at the mailways and prototypes. And the following week, we're also going to look at the unreleased orange card, unreleased Series 12. So we're going to look at some of the other toy lines that produced some of the characters that were supposed to be in that unreleased orange card Series 12 release. So we do have 2 additional weeks to follow up this screen card series. So Series 11, Green Cards, 1994. These are the most coveted action figures of the entire series. And, in honesty, if you look at these figures, even loose, even the most common loose figure is still going to be more expensive than pretty much not every figure, but almost all of your mint on card figures from the first 10 series. There are very few mint on card figures from series 1 through 10 that are going to be more expensive than any of your loose series 11 figures. That's how rare these figures are. Now, your series 8 Bret Hart, your series 8 Undertaker, your series 2 Dusty Rhodes, your series 3 Brutus Beefcake. I mean, those figures mint on card, those figures that are going to run, $500, $800, $1,000, etc. Yeah, those overly priced, out of this world price figures, yes, those are obviously going to be way up there. But there are so many figures that you could buy mint on card from Hasbro for $200 and less. But loose figures from Series 11, pretty much everything loose from Series 11 is going to cost you $200 plus. So this is a very expensive series, and that's why most people are not going to waste their money on this. They are basically 4-inch pieces of plastic, so why would you, right? Now there are a lot of great customizers out there who are going to sell these figures, especially if you go to UK sellers. They could probably get you these figures for like 55 pounds or so. So yeah, there are options out there for a more affordable price. Oh, there's a seller in the UK in early 2022, NIMIC, NIGHMIK, NIMIC, biggest freaking scammer on the planet. Guys, if you ever run into that guy, NIMIC, Mike, he is a scammer. Stay away from that clown. I probably wasted $1,000 buying figures from him. So this was before I had any Series 11 figures. Uh, before I had even a single carded Hasbro figure. Obviously, I wanted to save some money and buy custom Series 11 figures, so I found him on eBay, and the figures were made to order, so I bought those figures from him, and it says in his listing, made to order, takes a couple of months to get the figures made and shipped out. And he had great communication. I had no worries about getting the figures, and I placed a few orders from him because I wanted duplicates, obviously. And I even ordered some additional figures because he said he made card figures too. So I wanted mint on card figures. I placed loose figure orders, mint on card order. I spent a ton of money and never got my figures. And with eBay, I didn't realize that if you don't get your figures within 90 days or your order within 90 days, that's it, you're SOL. You don't get that buyer protection. So uh, the guy scammed the heck out of me, man. I was I'm so livid about that. So that's another reason I like making these videos to protect people out there. So if you guys know who that is, NIMIC, NIGHMIK, uh, do your diligence and track that SOB down. But back to the video, guys. I'm gonna do these figures kind of out of order, the way that I have them situated on the door, because I want to start with some of my favorite figures first. And another thing to consider with these figures, unlike the first 10 series, they weren't as mass produced. So that's another reason why they're so expensive. They are much more rare. So that's obviously another reason why they're so much more valuable. And one of the most expensive figures on the planet, and it comes from one of the worst action figures ever made, and that is the 1-2-3 Kid. And 1-2-3 Kid comes with the 1-2-3 punch. Now, back in 2022, early days, I was doing a top 10 countdown of worst Hasbros. Rick Rude, number one worst Hasbro ever. 1-2-3 Kid, not on that list. Ric Flair, I think, was on the top 10. I think it was like number 6, number 8, somewhere, something like that. But I don't know if I would put 1-2-3 Kid on the top 10 list. I don't think I'd have him on the top 15 or top 20, even with this pose. Now, why do Ric Flair and Rick Rude fall on that list, but 123 Kid doesn't with the same pose? Simply put, the color and detail of the figure, his singlet, makes this a beautiful looking figure. And with his body type, with this thinness, Sean Waltman, I mean, this body pose actually works for the 123 Kid, but it's just a bad pose on the figure itself. But 123 Kid, mint on card on eBay. If you're lucky, you might be able to get this figure for around $1,200. But lucky. But generally, you're looking at anywhere between around $1,200 to $2,500 for a mint on card 123 Kid figure. And this is what bothers me. When you look at the back of the card, Series 11 had 7 releases. But when you look at the back of the card, it's only showing you 5 releases. And they're not even showing you Yokozuna or Crush. But they are showing you the King of the Ring, uh, the yellow King of the Ring, ring in there, which is weird. I don't actually have the yellow King of the Ring. I've tried purchasing that in the past, but those darn rings, the yellow King of the Ring is super rare. Those things sell on eBay for like $500. And if you want one mint in box, oh yeah, those things probably could go for up to $1,000. People are crazy for the yellow King of the Ring. But yeah, this is an insanely expensive figure, and am I ever crazy enough to spend that type of money? No. My green card, I bought the bubble on card on eBay, and I got custom figures. That's I try to go smart with the way I purchase these figures. I get the customs, and I just put the custom inside the card and bubble. So the card and bubble is original, and I got a custom figure that I put inside. So uh, I think I did the same thing with Crush. I think the others might be original. I know Yoko is original, and I'm not sure about the rest of them. And I think Ludwig Borga is original, all completely original. But as far as the 123 Kid, even a loose 123 Kid figure, a loose 123 Kid by himself could go for up to $1,000. But a mint 123 Kid, anywhere between $600 to $1,200. No, I'm not doing that. A custom figure works just fine for me. So, and like I said, you look at the figures, customizers out there, they do an exceptional job. Looks just like the original figure. There's no reason spending that kind of money. I get it. There's people out there that are more than content to spend the money. They want the original figures. That I'm all for it. If I go out and I win the lottery one day, maybe I'll do it for collection's sake. But I'm good. I'm good with these guys. I don't need to have the original every time. Custom figures, they work beautifully for what I need. So when I make videos like these, as long as I have something to kind of show the viewers, it works. It works for my purposes. So, and yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I think I'd probably put 123 Kid in the top 20 bad figures just based on pose. But as far as aesthetics, I mean, it's a freaking beautiful looking figure, aesthetically looking figure. So, oh, countdown. So with 7 figures released in Hasbro, based on who you talk to, and it's kind of funky because some people kind of look at Hasbro as 99 figures, and I don't do that. I look at Hasbro and I'm like, okay, Hasbro has 94 figures. Well, if these guys say 99 and you say 94, that's a huge difference. Where's the drop off? We're not talking 95, 94. I mean 96, 94 even. That's five-figure difference. What that's a you know how are you way off? Well, for starters, I don't count the mailaways. Okay, three figures with Hogan and Undertaker and Bret Hart. I can see the three-figure mailaway. You're not counting those. 94 to 97. All right, got it. Makes sense. But what about the other two figures? Where those fall in line? Well, if you kind of look at carded figures, some people look at like the loose or the individual cards. They'll say, well, there's 86 individual carded figures, and then they'll say there's five tag teams. So five tag teams, that's an additional 10 figures. So that's 96 figures. Plus your three mailways giving you 99 figures. But I don't do that. I don't look at it as 99 figures because look at Series 1. Single card, smash. Series 2, on tag team set, demolition. Who are you getting with demolition? You got Crush, you got Smash. It's the same darn figure. So I'm not counting Smash in Series 1 and Smash in Series 2 as two figures. I'm counting him as one figure. So you're already deleting one figure right there. Also, on among those 86 single cards, you're counting Tatanka on blue card in Series 6, but you're also counting Tatanka on purple card in Series 9. Same figure. I am not counting him twice. I'm only counting him once. So, yeah, I'm not doing that. So, 94 figures. Now you kind of look at, well, what about, white pants, Shawn Michaels, and black a black vest, Razor Ramon. But for whatever reason, I don't think they count those guys on blue card because they don't count them as 86 carded figures. So I was sure to do a countdown on my loose figures before I came make this video, and sure enough, there are only 94 individual figures, not including mailways. So 94 figures. Oh, next up, let's go with Crush because Crush is kind of bothering me right now. 2022 Purple Crush would sell on eBay, mint on card. He was about a $300 to $350 figure, which to me, I still feel was an absolute ludicrous price for an action figure. I don't care if he was green card or not. But yeah, the Purple Crush, I get it. Purple card, or Purple card, what am I talking about? Purple Crush on green card, yeah, he's one of the most rare figures, got it. But $300 was an insane price. But today, this is what drives me insane. Evil Crush in 2022, about a $350 figure on card. But around 2024, you start buying a loose Purple Crush. And you get on eBay, and people are starting selling or have started to sell a Purple Crush for $500, $600. I'm like, are what? Are you guys insane? Come on now, be realistic. Be serious now. Come on, guys. I understand the rarity of the figure, but if you're seriously trying to make a sale and earn profit, you gotta let. This is what drives me nuts about certain sellers. If you're trying to sell an item and make a sale, you gotta sell something for an item that people are willing to pay. That's why when I sell items, yes, I'm trying to make profit. I'm trying to sell items so I can earn a living, but I'm also listing it for prices I know people are willing to pay. And if I'm selling a Purple Crush, I might sell it for $200, even though I know it might sell for 300. But I'm not paying $500-600 for an original Purple Crush. It's just not going to happen. So and so you, I'm like, you know what? Forget that. I will take a Series 7, and I think that's what I did here. I took a Series 7 Kona Crush, sent it off to my buddy Rob, have him repaint it. You still got an original Hasbro figure, original Hasbro Series 7, just repaint it. Guess what? For $10, I got myself a repainted original Hasbro to look like Purple Crush, and I'm perfectly ecstatic with that. Why spend $500 on original when I could take an original Series 7 Hasbro that I already own and get my buddy to paint it up for me? Like I said, he only charged me like $10 for it, and it's a 100% exact replica. I'll save my money. And for the last few weeks, like I said, I was on eBay and Mercari and all that. I've been trying hard to find an original figure so that I could have one for this particular video, but I'm just not doing it. I'm not paying that prices. It's just insane. I am good with this. And I do have another custom figure that I bought from Andrew Todd Martin, Mabel Toys on eBay. But, this one obviously is, that one's just an actual custom, custom, where this one is more authentic to the actual Series 11 one. So, but this is, in my estimation, the Purple Crush is a top 10, easy top 10 best Hasbro figure ever made. And you guys know how I feel about, the arms with guys like Atom Bomb and Crush and, Scott Steiner, etc. Mr. Perfect, what have you. I never liked the two arm separation where one is further out than the other. I just don't like that, but it's fine. And all of the different Crush looks with the jailhouse Crush look and the evil Crush look, the Kona Hawaii Crush look, the demolition Crush look. I want all of those looks. I want every last one. Ram Treasures, they finally came out with the demolition for LJN. Great. Now I want the Kona Crush. I want the evil Crush. I even want the jailhouse look. Why not? Let's get them all. All the faces of Crush. Such an awesome look. So the first green card Hasbro figure I ever got, and shoot, I'm wondering. This might have actually. I'm wondering if this was the first Hasbro figure I ever acquired. Period. I gotta think about that. This might be. I'm like really thinking hard, and this might have actually been the first mint on card Hasbro figure I ever acquired. And if it was, it was. I mean, I'm glad to have gotten it. The Series 11 Yokozuna. I mean, it was to check this one off of my list right off the bat. And to think that, a Series 8 Yokozuna is probably just as expensive as a Series 11. So, I mean, a Series 11 Yokozuna probably goes for around $250. It's not that expensive. I know. Me talking about $250, not that expensive. Yeah, right. With my frugal butt, talking about $5 being pricey, and I'm like, yeah, $250 ain't expensive. Yeah, who am I kidding? um, uh, Yokozuna comes with Sumo Smash, and yeah, like I said, he's not even on the back of this card. One of probably a dozen or so characters that comes with, two or more figures. I love Yokozuna, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. And I mean, he was a big fella when he first came in. 505 pounds, I think he was when he first came in. And by the time he was out of WWF, I mean, he was what, north of 650? Hello, my 600-pound life. I mean, I want to know where the heck Dr. Now was when this guy was wrestling. I shouldn't laugh, man. If Dr. Now was around then, he may have actually saved his freaking life. But shoot, man, you like watch these videos and who was it? The head shrinkers, man? Or was it somebody else? I can't remember, but they're talking about like how like their electricity went out or something and how Rodney paid their bills and kept the lights on and all that for them. And I'm like, because at the time he was like the most successful wrestler in their family. First time someone in the family ever became a heavyweight champion and whatnot. I'm like, that's incredible. And he was like what, 34 or something when he died. I mean, he was a freaking young man. He was an awesome freaking wrestler. I loved watching Yokozuna wrestle. He was so enjoyable, and he was a funny guy too. like, like when people would sit there like interview him, like, so how much do you eat? And he'd give a little smart ass response, like a whole lot more than you. I love that. I love that response. Oh man, and you guys know how I feel about the Yokozuna Hasbro figure. I mean, I still prefer the Series 8 because I love the black and red color scheme more, but Yokozuna is my favorite Hasbro figure. It's just an absolute beauty, and it's the way it just sits in your hand, the way it settles. It's just a perfect figure. And when I was doing my countdown of favorite wrestling action figures, surprisingly, Sid Vicious Galoob was not my number one figure. The figure that I had from childhood and the one that I played with the most wasn't my number one. It was my number two. No, Yokozuna came in as my number one all time favorite figure. And I think Yokozuna Hasbro will probably always be my favorite, even though it's not a figure that I had as a kid. Again, first time I ever saw Hasbro Yokozuna was when all of this started happening. But if you're lucky, you could probably get a loose figure for around $150. But generally, like I said, most loose figures, pretty much any Hasbro Series 11 figure, if you're looking for loose figures, most of them are gonna cost you north of $200. If you're looking at 1, 2, 3 kid, like I said, loose, you're in about $800 range. Most of them will probably gonna set you back $600, $1,200. Right now, Crush is in the $400 to $600 range for a loose figure. Yokozuna is probably gonna set you back about $200 for a loose figure, 250 even. Mint on card, depending on seller, you could get one for 250. You could get one for 350. Yeah, it really depends. I mean, this one has a little bit of paint loss. So, I mean, a loose figure like this, even with some markings, I mean, it could potentially sell for as little as 150, 125. Well, I don't think 125. I think that's crazy, but I think 150, 175 potentially is a possibility. Of course, it comes in one of my favorite acrylic cases ever, and I think it goes in this one. Extra Array gets one of the most extra special acrylic cases. Who should we do next? Let's do Adam Bomb. So, of course, you are going to see a number of Series 11 characters. A lot of these guys are going to be in my top 10 favorite figures. And I think a lot of Series 11 figures, they remind me of LJN, where a lot of Series 6 figures from LJN kind of like remind me of a lot of Series 11 figures from Hasbro in the sense that A lot of Series 6 LJN are in my top 10 favorite figures. A lot of Series 11 figures from Hasbro are my top 10 favorite figures. And a lot of these figures are based on color scheme. Like Play Pose with Crush and Atom Bomb may not be the best because of the arms, but they're still solid looking figures, and I love the color scheme with the figures. And Atom Bomb comes with the Nuclear Knockout. I actually found Brian Clark on Facebook and actually friended him on there, which is pretty awesome. So both Brian Clark and Bobby Horn. So I think that's pretty freaking awesome to get both those guys as Facebook friends. I haven't messaged either one of them, but I should probably do that one day. Stop being an asshole and just send them a message, say, "Hey, how you doing?" But Atom Bomb, as a kid, I talked about it all the time. One of my favorite things was when Atom Bomb used to like come to the ring, had like these little Nerf balls, like little nuclear bomb type deals, and kind of like throw them into the crowd and whatnot. And I don't remember what they look like, but I'm assuming they look like the exact same thing. I gotta look on eBay and see if those things exist because I vaguely remember as kids, my brothers and I used to have those sort of like those same exact Nerf ball bombs that he used to like launch into the crowd. I think they used to sell those in stores, and I vaguely remember owning those. And I want a couple of those for the collection. If they still exist, I want them. But I'm pretty sure that if they still exist, that they'd probably be on eBay for a couple $100 because people always list things for stupid prices, stupid crazy prices. But this is an absolutely gorgeous figure. Head mold is incredible, and just the little nuclear explosion, man. I love that look. It is one of the easily one of the best figures ever. Top 5, top 6 best figure. Top 7. I don't know where I put him. I don't remember, but absolutely perfect. Oh man, I keep seeing Atom Bomb LJN like customs on like Facebook or something. I really do want an Atom Bomb LJN, but like I really want a real authentic Atom Bomb LJN. And the figures I keep seeing that I really want, like I finally found like a Yokozuna Atom Bomb or Yokozuna LJN and Atom Bomb LJN and so forth, but the ones that I've seen, they're adequate. Like I don't want to complain about someone's work. They're decent, good figures. They're not like real authentic LJNs. So I don't know. Like who do they take? Not Nikolai Volkov. I don't think they use Nikolai Volkov, but I'm trying to think. Was it SD Jones or something? I'm trying to think of the characters that it could have utilized. Don Morocco. I'm trying to think of. But anyways, but the characters that they used, I'm like, no man, I want a real new body mold and whatnot. But this, I want a real head mold. I want a real body. I want a real one-off of Atom Bomb. LJN. Somebody got it. Ahmad, if you are watching, buddy, please, for love of God, Latuni, let's get an authentic Atom Bomb. Dying for this character. All right. Which way does this go? 6-man championship belt. Atom Bomb, as a loose figure, you can actually get Atom Bomb. He's actually one of the more respectable loose figures. Like, I think I just saw Atom Bomb sell on Mercari probably a week ago. And I don't know. I think he sold on Mercari for like, I don't know, like maybe $125 or something. And I think the seller probably didn't know the value of the figure. I think Anabom is about a 200, 250 value wise, but you can probably get Anabom for about 125, $175. So if you find the right seller, you can get one for a lot cheaper. But again, when it comes to green card series, I say any figure you pretty much keep in mind, $200 for a lot of these figures. But Adam Bomb, like I said, is one of those guys. He's probably the one figure in this lot of figures that you might be able to get for less than 200. But if you're thinking you're gonna get any of these guys for less than three figures, less than $100, that's never gonna happen. All right, who's next? Let's go with one of my favorites. Not a top 10 figure for me, but you know what? This is a custom. The card and bubble is original, but the figure inside is a custom. I can look at it and tell, which is a shame because I actually had an original a version of this figure, but I sold it on Mercari, and it sucks because I had it up on eBay and Mercari for the longest time, and I couldn't sell it for the price I wanted, and I kept coming down in price, kept coming down, and I ended up selling it for like pennies. Well, not pennies, but like I spent like a grand, and I only spent $1,000 because I wanted a Black Pants mint on card Shawn Michaels. I bought it from a UK seller, and I bought like three or four mint on card figures, and among them was a Ludwig Borga and Black Pants Shawn Michaels, and I think there was another figure or two, and I spent like $1,000, and I resold one or two of those figures, and I think I got my money back, or came close to getting my money back. But I was really hoping to get a good chunk of my money back for just Ludwig, and I should have. I should have actually gotten. I sold one figure for a good price. I think I got like 100. You know what? It was a one of those Series 10 Bushwhackers. I think I got like $130 for it, and I should have gotten like $400 for like Ludwig Borga at least. And I ended up selling it for like two something, like 270, 230, some small number. And I regret that. I deeply regret selling that figure, and I should have actually should have kept it and sold the custom, because even a custom figure should have had some value. Like I said, the card and bubble is original, but the figure inside is custom. When I bought this, it served my needs for what I need for it. It's Well, I decided to sell the original because, well, if you're gonna sell something, you want to sell original. You keep the custom, because you don't want to sit there and have to deal with someone complaining about a custom, or trying to bid you down, or offer lower prices because it's a custom. So at least with an original, you have a better chance for selling for a good price. So that was my thinking, but they still bid offered lower for the original. So that's why I kind of regret selling that one. But Finland finisher. That's his finishing move on here. This really is a good looking figure. And I think I'm wondering when I got this. I know I picked this figure up not too long after I started my channel, because right after I started my channel because I wanted to do that my favorite LJN tournament, and I worked on that tournament around March and April 2022. And then right after, I was working on like a lot of Hasbro videos, like my top 10, my least 10, my top 10 favorite, my top 10 least favorite Hasbro figures, etc. And I must have just gotten this figure in because I had like special shout out to this figure. And this should be like a top 10 favorite. And I think this was like a $240 figure I got from Able Toys. And like I said, Andrew Martin, you buy anything from him, a lot of his figures are gonna sell for like way up there because man's got like 1,000 followers, and a lot of his figures are gonna sell for very high prices because everybody tries to buy from him. He is an awesome Hasbro seller. You have no idea how many things I bought from him. I could, like I said, I probably completed 2 or 3 Hasbro collections. But no, Ludwig Borga, I never recognized the name, but like the look, I knew the look of the figure. So I actually, at the time, I had to go back and kind of, do some research on the character to kind of rehash some old memories. He is one of those guys. Again, he was not in WWF very long, so I did not have a lot of history or remembrance of this character. But like I always said, no matter who you're looking at in the Hasbro run, at least I can go back and say, at least yes, every single character who was released in Hasbro, at least I watched them at some point in my life. So, and a lot of these characters, with the open hands and whatnot. So I've always been perfectly fine with this. Maybe not in the top 10, but definitely a top 15, maybe top 20 best Hasbro figure. Awesome piece. Ludwig Borga, again, 200, 240, $250 as a loose figure. Mint on card. I may have undersold him, but I still say a mint on card figure is still a $300 to $400 figure, easy. And Ludwig Borga, and this piece is not 100% mint, but I mean, outside of like a little small mark on the bottom of the feet, this piece is practically mint. I mean, 99.9% perfect. This is an absolute beauty right here. And of course, almost all of my figures have to be acrylic case because they're just so freaking rare and valuable, man. All right. Next up, coming with the Rodeo Roundhouse is Bart Gunn of the Smoking Guns. So, a lot of time, what you got to do, if you don't want to pay, $250 for a loose figure, if you got this is a custom, no, this is original. I do actually have a custom with this figure, but this one's original here. If you do have if you have a Razor Ramon, I recommend Series 7 because it's less expensive. But find yourself a good customizer. Like me, I go through Robert Jackson. He's one of the best Hasbro customizers I've ever, dealt with. I've gone through him for absolutely million things. Get yourself a Series 7 figure. Send it out to a customizer you trust who does great work. And all they got to do is swap out the head and basically take a $250 figure and get it to you for, $10, $20, whatever they're going to charge you for it. Like I said, this one right here is an original, but I do have a Series 11 custom figure like this as well. So, and his figure looks perfectly identical to this. So, and this is just another wind up figure, but Bart Gunn, probably another top 20 best Hasbro figure. Aesthetically, absolutely incredible. Smoking guns, a lot of time people will put the smoking guns on auction together. And of course, when those figures sell together, they're going to go up $450, almost $500 for the pair. Even if you're buying them from like a UK seller, you're paying 450 plus dollars, plus you're paying UK shipping, which is another 50, $60, plus you're paying import taxes and all that. So, you could pay $600 for a pair of Hasbro figures. You buy them from a US seller, you might be saving on shipping and taxes and all that, but still getting it for around 400 plus dollars. So it's not like it's like a huge astronomical savings. But me, a lot of Hasbro's that I buy, I do buy from UK sellers because even with shipping costs and import taxes, the purchase price of the figures are a lot more affordable. So I prefer to buy from overseas sellers. That's just me personally. And when I do that, it does allow me to sell to local buyers and offer it to them for more affordable prices. That way, I'm not having to sell a $30 figure for $30. I could sell to them for $20 because maybe I only paid $10 or something. So, of course, when you factor in shipping and taxes and everything, you got to take all the prices into consideration. So, but yeah, that's an absolute perfect figure. And this thing is absolute mint. I need to put this in acrylic case as well because I don't have this one cased, but he needs to be. This is absolute perfection. Oh man, this is such a good figure. I didn't watch a lot of Smoking Guns, and I don't think I was really a fan of them when I was actively watching. 1994. I don't know. I don't have a lot of memories of Smoking Guns, to be honest. And his brother, Billy Gunn, later on, badass Billy Gunn. I'm like I see his Mattel retro figure. I'm like, okay, good figure and whatnot. But and as a matter of fact, oh man, this card is jacked. You could tell that this is something that I bought where the card and bubble is original, but the figure is custom. I just I don't want to say resealed. I probably put tape around this. Look, with a lot of these figures, a lot of these Series 11, I don't know what I say. I think Adam Baum maybe. Uh, I think Yokozuna might have actually been the only one. Yokozuna I know was original, 100% original, but I think almost all of these were, well, the card and bubble were original, but the figures inside were customs, and I'm perfectly content with that. A lot of these loose figures are original, but as far as buying mint on card figures for $600, $500, no, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. I'll save my money and do what I've done. Like let's say you hypothetically recently I bought a mint on card. I bought a 123 kid card and bubble from Mabel Toys on auction. I paid $50 for the card and bubble, which is BS because this card and bubble I bought for like $200 for the card and bubble itself. And the card and bubble I bought from Mabel Toys on auction, I paid $50 as a purchase price. So I think about that. I'm like, damn. So one day I'm gonna see my buddy Rob. I'm gonna try and purchase another custom 123 kid, and I'm gonna put that up for auction and see if someone's willing to buy that. Kind of do like a little hybrid sale where I'm not gonna seal it up or anything like that. I'm gonna have the card and bubble off to the side, and I'm gonna have the little custom figure by the side off to the side, and I'm gonna have a little hybrid sale where original card and bubble plus custom figure. And I know someone out there is like me. They're gonna be willing to buy that. Where they're not gonna pay $1,000 for some original figure, but they may pay a couple $100 for that. So I mean that's something, right? So, but the Hasbro figure for Billy Gunn and his Mattel Retro, basically the same figure almost. They're both punching figures if you think about it. So I don't know, man. Just the way that his head kind of like shoots forward, kind of. I don't know. I don't like that. But like Hulk Hogan from Series 5 and Jake Roberts, your Series 6 Tito Santana. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this figure. The Tito Santana, I like the pants of the Tito Santana. Jake Roberts, I like the boots of the figure. Maybe the hat just makes the head look weird. I don't know. It just it's just kind of a funky look. Plus, it looks like the pants are a little bit different shade, a little bit. That's fine. Not a great big deal, right? But working action feature. Again, when it comes to smoking guns, individually 200, 225, 250. If you're looking at the figures together, somewhere around 450, $500 for original figures. Go the custom route, guys. If you don't care about originality and you want to save some money, custom figures, you can get them for around $50 if you're interested. And if you find the right seller, you get yourself a Jake Roberts figure. You got friends who do customization. Send your friends a Jake Roberts figure. Have them repaint it. Find someone who does heads like Tom Veg. Find him on Facebook, Tom Veg. He does heads. Probably spend like I don't know, $20 or something to get it to buy a head and do the customization. Pop the head on. You do a repaint, all in 30, 40, $50 compared to spending 250 on a figure. So think about it that way. You're going to save money and you're still going to get a great figure, and it's going to look great on display. So there are better options out there, and if you really want the original, you could always go back and buy it later. And there are people out there who will buy a custom later on, so you can always resell it if you want. So there's options. All right, I think that was it. All set, all seven. Yeah, I think we looked at all seven figures. So that does conclude all 94 original releases of the 11 series of the Hasbro run. Next week, we are going to look at the prototypes and the mailaways of Hasbro. So that's going to include your mailaway Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, and Bret Hart. We're going to look at the prototypes of Kamala with the moon belly, and we're also going to look at the prototype of your Mega Maniac Brutus Beefcake, and I think that's it. So 5 figures. And then the following week, we're going to close out the run, close out the series with your Series 12 unreleased orange card by looking at Mattel Retros. We're going to look at Grapplers and Gimmicks, and we're going to look at Zombie Sailors. So we're going to look at their figures of all the characters that should have been released back in 1995 had Hasbro continued with their contract. So, based on the recent poll, it looks like most people are interested in stopping the Hasbros and continuing on Tuesdays with a new line of reviews. So, Hasbro Tuesday is going to turn into LJN Tuesday. And we are going to start that right there. So, I can probably continue Hasbro Tuesday with the customs and make it like maybe LJN Wednesday or something. LJN Saturday or whatnot. But Hasbro Tuesdays that we where we could still continue this format and do series one, looking at all the series one customs that I have. The following week, series two, looking at all the series two customs that I have. Or if I don't have enough figures, kind of bleed them in. Let's say I don't have enough series one and series two figures, bleed them together. Or maybe I don't have enough series five and series six figures, bleed them together, or something like that. But uh, I'm gonna probably stop. I'm probably gonna just start with a new series and work on LGNs. Now you guys know I've already done all of these reviews in the past, but this channel is big on reviewing these lines because there are a lot of new viewers. So a lot of people are seeing these videos for the first time. So obviously I want to make these reviews again for the new folks. And it's not like I'm gonna be saying the same exact thing over and over again, right? So the LJN stuff that I said back in, what was it, 2023, or was it 2024? I don't remember. Now I think I made those videos in 2023. I think that's about right. Shoot, I'm so lost. All of these videos are bleeding in together. That's it for now, guys. I mean, we're hovering at 56 plus minutes now, and that's about enough time. But to kind of give you an idea of what's to be expected, and after six series of LJNs, are we gonna look at prototypes of LJNs? I'm gonna get my buddy Rob. I'm gonna see if he could make some of those prototypes customs for me, obviously. So we might have an extra video for LJNs. After that, Remco's. I think I want to do Remco's after that. I'm gonna put out a poll for you guys to vote, but more than likely, I think the AW Remco's is the next one I really want to do. So I'm gonna see what you guys think, and if you guys approve, right on. All right. So, guys, thank you for watching, and please be sure to tune in for the next couple weeks for Hasbro Tuesday. And until then, take care, everybody.